Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Good morning, y'all. Captain Dylan Hubbard here inside the iHeartMedia Empire studio with our News Radio 970 WFLA Bartow Ford Real Animals radio show this morning. Getting started on a looks to be beautiful Saturday morning. Hot and humid, but still beautiful nonetheless. And this morning in studio, we've got a good friend, Justin Tramble from Tampa Bay Waterkeepers. We're going to be talking a little bit about Tampa Bay Waterkeepers and, of course, plenty of fishing. And we hope you'll join the conversation with us as well. You can join us by calling into the studio at 1-800-969-9352. And the first voice you'll hear when you call in is our good friend John Dugas, being punished yet again this week, having to wake up early and bear with us through our Real Animals radio show. How you doing this morning, John?
I'm good, my man. How about yourself?
Surviving one day at a time. It's hard to survive right now, too, man. That air temperature has been brutal.
Hot.
And, I mean, we've had a heat advisory the last couple of days. It's still going to be hot out there today. And, man, the importance of being safe on the water in this heat is intense. You got to stay hydrated, man. It's crazy. We've had a couple people fall out on other boats and our boats as well. Even with air-conditioned cabins, you have people falling out.
Air-conditioned cabins and people still falling out.
Yeah, you really got to be prepared when you go out on the water this time of year. And it's only going to get hotter. It's always funny to me because it seems like we have to prepare ourselves and get conditioned to the heat. And every year around this time, everybody's like, oh, it's so hot. And then at the end of July, August, September, when it's brutal, we're all like, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wait till August. Wait till September.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't seen anything yet.
Do you guys ever do that thing where you put the towels in the cooler and you wrap it around your neck?
Oh, yeah.
That's sort of the tried and true.
Yeah.
That'll get you through the day.
It'll definitely bring your body temperature down, too, and it helps a lot, especially if you got someone who's overheated and needs to cool down quickly. That's a good way of bringing their body temperature down. But it comes to, in my opinion, preparation. A lot of times what we'll see is someone who does fall out because they are not, or they're overheated or not feeling good. A lot of times it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't sleep last night, or, oh, we stayed out late, partying all night, and or I was excited for the fishing trip and I haven't eaten. Those are kind of the situations that we run into most when we hear someone not doing well offshore. So it's so important during this heat to make sure you are taking care of yourself on the water, whether you're chasing tarpon inshore or heading offshore for those red snapper. And speaking of red snapper, private recreational red snapper season opened yesterday, June 17th, and that runs through end of day July 31st. Plus, private recreational red snapper has some additional weekends this fall as well. The federal for-hire season is going to be June 1st through end of day August 18th. So people can get that a little bit confused. And basically what it means is if you're going fishing on your own private boat with your buddy who owns a boat, or it's your private boat, or it's not a charter, there's no money exchanging hands, that is private recreational fishing. And your season is June 17th through end of day July 31st, and those additional fall days. If you're going on a charter boat that's federally permitted to fish in the Gulf in federal waters, that season is June 1st through end of day August 18th. So trying to clear it up for people out there, but the red snapper is in full swing for both private recs and federal for-hire, and the bite is hot. Have you been thinking about getting out there for red snapper, or are you mainly inshore, Justin?
I'm mainly inshore, but it's tempting.
Yeah.
It certainly is tempting.
Get out there and chase them fish.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to do it every now and then, but I do mostly stay inshore.
I got you.
Yeah. When the bite's been pretty good inshore, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, inshore. I mean, we have tarpon rolling pretty heavy. We're on the backside of that full moon, so water's slowing down, coming up on a last quarter moon this week, I believe Tuesday. and water temperature is hot.
Yeah.
Speaking of air temperature being hot, the bay is crazy. And even the Gulf along the beach, there's, I think, Clearwater Beach reached 90 degrees for sea surface temperature. So you're out at the beach, you want to hop in the water to cool off. Doesn't really work.
Not happening.
Yeah, 90 degrees is not going to cool you off and not too refreshing. But it has brought the snook to the beach. Are you a beach snook fisherman? at
Oh
all?
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is to actually walk the beach and fly fish in the morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where in Tampa Bay do you get away with that? Or are you talking about traveling?
No, you can do it in Tampa Bay. You just got to get up early. You got to beat the folks looking for shells.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to hit anybody on the back cast.
Yeah, you need a lot of room behind you. Yeah, I've never been a huge fly fisherman. I've tried it a few times back in the day at Florida Sportsman Expos when they used to do those all over the state. They had that like casting competition thing. Well, I got kicked out of the spinning reel casting competition.
How did you get kicked out?
Because I grew up going to every Florida Sportsman Expo. We used to do all 17 of them across the state of Florida and Alabama. And so from a young age until I was like 10 or 12, and the guy who coordinates the Florida Sportsman Expos eventually blackballed me from the casting competitions because the kids one, you just made it in the hula hoop, and they gave you a free spinning reel combo, and you could come back every hour.
Oh, so you were loading up.
I would leave an expo with 15 new combos.
They had a picture of your face like, don't let him participate.
So then I had to start trying the adult one, which was fly fishing. And that's where I learned how to fly fish, was at Florida Sportsman Expos. It was pretty cool. And the guy there knew a lot about it, but I never put it to much use. I've tried it a couple times, but yeah, that takes a lot of finesse.
It does, but that fishery is not just fly fishing either. So every now and then, you know, when I have buddies in town, we'll go throw like little DOA shrimp, that type of thing.
That's my favorite lure.
Yeah, yeah, and in like the white sort of glow,
Oh, yeah.
it's magic out there.
Yeah.
You put those in front of some fish.
That you bring up a good point there, because with the white glow on the beach, people are always like asking in the shop, like, "Oh, what color's best?" And they tend to gravitate towards like the watermelon or the purple. I'm like, you got to match the watercolor,
Yeah.
and the water clarity. And out on the beach, that crystal clear, beautiful water, that white shrimp, or that I like the clear with the silver flake. That seems to work really well for me too out on the beach. But you want to match the watercolor, which is kind of doesn't really seem to match up. You'd think you'd want something to stick out, but that's not true.
Yeah, especially here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of like our red fishery, if you're throwing artificials, that's, you know, I'm usually using a lot of darker colors, brown, green.
Yeah.
It sort of blends in, you would think, you know, it's
Yeah.
sort of counterintuitive. You'd think you'd want, you know, something that stands out, but those fish will run away,
Yeah.
you know, from a watermelon colored thing, you know.
Yeah, and you have to use something that's natural. A lot of lure colors and lure patterns and lures in general. My dad always said they're made to catch fishermen.
Yeah.
Walking down the aisles at Bass Pro or Tampa Bay Fishing Outfitters or St. Pete Fishing Outfitters, it's all it's made to catch you, not the fish.
Yeah, I think my wife would say that a lot of lures have caught me because I have I got a closet full. So
Yeah, my wife would say the same thing too. But I mean, you go in her closet; she has a lot of shoes.
hey,
so.
the shoes caught her.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So there's a give and take there. I guess that's what you call marriage, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
All right, so Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Dylan.
Yeah.
So Tampa Bay Waterkeeper is a nonprofit grassroots organization based in Tampa Bay, obviously. We advocate for clean water, everyone's right to clean water. So our mission is to protect, improve, and preserve the Tampa Bay watershed. So full disclosure, I'm the executive director, but I started in April, so not too long ago. So there's still a lot of learning on my end, learning, you know, a lot of the players, stakeholders, a lot of the issues even. But yeah, with last year's red tide event and the Piney Point crisis, our organization has grown pretty significantly, pretty fast.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we do a lot of different things, a lot of programming, a lot of educational events. One of the things that sort of separates us is, oftentimes if we need to, we'll litigate. So that's sort of the action piece that we sort of carry in our tool bag.
Yeah. And that was cool. We talked a little bit. I met Justin. He actually used to work for the city of Treasure Island. So we had emailed and talked quite a few times, but never actually met. And you took on this new position at Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, and he reached out to me, and we had a meeting this last week. And that's what sparked me to bring you on the show. But we were talking at that meeting, and it was really cool to hear that Tampa Bay Waterkeepers is trying their best to kind of hold city municipalities and anybody really who is a bad actor who pollutes Tampa Bay or contributes to polluting Tampa Bay. And you said recently it was something in Manatee County?
Yeah, the city of Bradenton.
Yeah. So they had a spill or something?
Yeah, so we just settled a case. You can find the information on our website, but we just settled a case with the city of Bradenton. Over the past few years, they had dumped, I think it was 160 million gallons of partially treated sewage into the Manatee River. And so kudos to the city. Believe it or not, it sounds funny to say that after what I just said.
Yeah.
But they really came to the table recognizing the need to update some of their infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so that settlement essentially has them upgrading their wastewater treatment facility, and then they're also throwing, I think, $220,000 to a Sarasota Bay Estuary Program project.
Awesome.
And I think it's a good opportunity to also say that, one of my goals is to build collaboration. We can have like these dink, lawsuit here, there.
Yeah.
But I personally believe, and my board believes, that it's sort of a movement that needs to happen.
Yeah, and through lawsuits, you meet the players, and you can build the conversations, and then other city municipalities see that and know that they're going to be held accountable, which is awesome.
For sure. It allows us to get to the table to hopefully be more proactive. That way we don't have to litigate. I mean, we want to. There's a lot of infrastructure updates. I mean, everybody knows there's a lot of infrastructure updates that we need in Pinellas, Hillsborough,
City of St. Pete.
Yeah. So clean water, you can go out on the street, maybe not at 6 a.m., but you can go out there right now and stop anybody and be like, hey, how important is clean water to you? Everybody's going to raise their hand.
Yeah.
So, what we're trying to do as an organization is to communicate, hey, this is what the community wants. This is what we all desire. It's not just fishermen, it's everybody. And, how we communicate to the cities and municipalities, how we do that, it allows us to make sure that we build a sustainable plan. So
that's awesome, man. Well, we're going to be talking more about Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, and we're going to be taking your calls. If you want to join the conversation, you can give us a shout at 1-800-969-9352 and talk to John Dugas behind the glass and get on hold there. We got Captain Mike from Big Pine Key coming up on the other side and more, and hopefully hear from you as well. We'll be right back. Real Animals Radio.
This year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tickets.
it's funny. I didn't know. It's like, are we going to be engaging back in it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of laid back. It's a conversation. That's all it is.
Yeah.
When I first started doing it, I was like, but you get the hang of it.
Nah, dude, it sounds
it's
like
casual.
you're a pro, man.
Yeah. Oh, fake it till you make it. That's my motto. This is only like my 6th or 7th time running the show.
Yeah.
Most of the time, Mike sits over here and I'm over there.
Okay.
All I have to do is sit back and run the Facebook page. Run the Facebook show. Lance Hall, good morning. Jason Coling, Nick Nieves, Nick Fenbert, Jim Demmel, Big O, Robert Riggs, Larry Atkins, Carl Lovett. Appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. Christine, hope you and Pete are doing well. We got Capt Mike Perry. Definitely a lot of people take the water for granted. And I like Tampa Bay Waterkeepers and what they do for that reason. And one of my issues is we talked about this in our meeting too, is kind of how people get all up in arms about clean water when issues occur, but then when water's nice and nothing's going on, people forget about it. So yeah, hopefully groups like yourselves can keep that at the forefront and work together. And yeah, the Florida Guides Association definitely wants to continue the conversation more. And the Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, or Waterkeepers in general, is a statewide kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's actually a global movement. I think there's 350
Wow,
organizations throughout the world.
that's crazy.
Yeah, there's several in Florida.
Because I know there's Bahamas one you mentioned.
Yep.
There's one in Manatee, right?
Yeah, there's Suncoast Waterkeeper, which we often partner with, just because it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
There's St. John's, there's Swanee River, there's Matanzas, there's Miami Waterkeeper. There's a few.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, to your point about, folks usually get up in arms, when stuff happens. I think our job, our goal is to make sure that it's not just a dynamic up and down. We're consistently advocating for the watershed, because these infrastructure projects take a long time to fund.
Yeah.
And it takes more of a movement. They're huge. Yeah. So it takes years. So it's kind of the long game.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir on that. The sand issue thing that we've been dealing with was 1997. We started talking about that. And here we are in 2022 and finally got some money allocated to at least do a short-term solution to that problem. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
What's the timeline to start that?
I'm hoping in like November, on the backside of the snook spawn, all the summertime beach spawn, redfish spawn, and then also the manatee migration. So I'm pushing for like a November, December start for that reason. But it all depends on the money has to be, it's been allocated and secured funding wise, and the governor has signed off on it. So the money's there, but now the money has to go somewhere, either to the city or the county, and there's some question about that, which one's going to get it, and then they have to design the program, and then once they design the program, they have to get permitted. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and I just don't know, government doesn't move quite as quickly and efficiently as private business does. Even when they want something like this to happen. I mean, the city mayor has been super supportive. The city manager is bad to the bone. And the city of Madeira Beach is definitely working hard to get this done quickly, and they want it done quickly, but there's a lot of other moving parts. So to answer your question, I don't know. That's a big question, but I'm hoping November-ish on the backside of all of it, because I mean that area is pretty important to a lot of summertime species, and then the manatees migrate right through there. So hopefully once it starts getting real cold fronts start running through, we can get that done. What?
Do I hit on? We're just talking here.
No.
Okay.
No, only when we go back.
Because I did, but I think maybe he flipped it back off.
Oh, yeah. You don't hit on unless we're going back on the radio. But that's what he's here for. We are back now that we have music. So now you'll hit on.
Okay, sorry.
We're back. Real Animals Radio here on 970 WFLA, the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show. And appreciate y'all tuning in this morning on beautiful Saturday, June 18th, in a hot and steamy Tampa Bay. We've got Captain Mike from Big Pine Key here. How you doing, Captain Mike?
Hey, Dylan, how you doing today? And to your guests there, we want to say all the way down from the Florida Keys, thank you for what you and your group are doing.
Yeah, thanks, Captain.
Everybody
No
working together.
problem. Everything, a lot of people that, especially newcomers to Florida, don't realize all the water north of here, especially from, say, Okeechobee all the way through the Glades, affects what I do, especially Florida Bay. And we definitely have all our problems, salinity issues, green algae, you name it, they've had it. I'm obviously farther down in Big Pine, but what one person does can affect a whole lot of other people.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
Trickle-down effect.
definitely fertilizers, everything runoff from A to Z. So keep up what you're doing. I support. I have a home in Tampa Bay too as well, and it's wonderful. So what you're doing is fantastic. The fishing in the Keys has been good, Dylan. We've been trolling up those mahi. Then once we get a few on, we'll stop and live bait them, chunk bait them, depending upon what they want, and we just go after it. And we've definitely been getting our limit. I've been limiting. You don't need too many, especially when most of your clients are just taking a hook and cook or taking it back to their hotel or whatever and having it cooked. You don't need too many, but definitely fresh mahi on the grill or however you like it all over the Keys right now.
Anything else biting real well besides the mahi?
Yeah, well, we're getting yellowtail. Hot time of the year is yellowtail. Where we get in Tampa Bay, where we get the mangroves in the hot time of the year, the yellowtail are real good. You got to go deeper for the mangoes and the muttons this time of year. Actually, November, December, and January in the shallower water is when the bigger snapper move in. You can get them around the bridges and stuff all year long, but a consistent bite of bigger fish inshore, what we would call inshore in the Keys, is more towards the end, the end of the year, what we would call cooler months in Florida.
Yeah, I got you.
But,
we're actually starting to get the mahi up here, too. We got some chicken dolphins near shore. We ran into them as shallow as 40 foot of water. So we're definitely
wow.
We're seeing the little chickens. No big size, nothing real respectable yet. Don't even really have photos because they're pretty small chickens that we're seeing, but it's starting. It's starting already.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear already, and it doesn't take too big a mahi to put two decent fillets on a grill. So.
Amen.
For people out there, you don't have to have that big bull or cow dolphin to have a nice mahi dinner, that's for sure.
Well, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and book a charter down there in the Keys.
Sure. It's 813-434-8086, CaptainMichael47gmail.com, or simply call Mike Anderson at 1-866-GAMEFISH, and he will shoot you my number. And come on down to the Florida Keys. It's hot, but we can end our trip daily like we have been, either to sandbar or do some snorkeling for an hour and kind of cool off. The Atlantic is still a bit refreshing, but it's getting rather warm right now.
Well, we appreciate the call this morning, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks, Cap Mike.
Yep. Thanks, Dylan. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
See you, buddy. Always a pleasure to hear from our friend Cap Mike in Big Pine Key, and hopefully we'll hear from you as well. Remember, you can join the conversation at 1-800-969-9352. We are coming up against a break, but we're going to be talking more throughout the morning about Tampa Bay waterkeepers, answering your questions, and talking a little bit about these red snapper that everybody's chasing right now. Looks like we have some beautiful weather second half of the work week, but going to get a little hit and miss over the weekend. We'll be right back. Real Animals Radio on the other side.
News, traffic, and weather.
Right.
Top it.
I don't know if I probably could eat mahi on the grill at 6:30.
Oh, yeah.
I probably still could.
When I was real young, our family restaurant, the Friendly Fishermen there at the dock, they used to do breakfast. And
like fish and grits or something?
Yeah. Well, they do cook your catch. So, like, you come back in from a 39-hour trip, and we could pop over there, and they'd prepare up the fish and do the fish and grits. Mike's still off, yeah. He's coming in here. Sorry, man.
I didn't know.
I was going to say, just be careful. I noticed you, I don't know if it's
It's an accident.
on purpose or whatever. You had turned your mic on a couple times during the break.
During the break, I did. I thought I had to turn it on, and then I asked. I was like, "Oh, was I supposed to?" Because I saw you turned it off.
Yeah, I see it on my end too. I just wanted to let you know just in case you weren't aware.
Yeah.
Obviously we don't want anything going out that
Yeah.
might,
I hear you.
inappropriate.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But no, I just wanted to give you a heads up.
All right, I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
John.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for keeping us in line. Did you turn my mic on at the beginning of that last segment?
I did.
Oh, okay. Because I went to reach up to turn it on. I was like,
You're on it, man.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we were. I think there was only about 5 seconds left of the bumper. I was like, yeah, we gotta.
oh, I got you.
Start talking.
That's a good way to do it. I see that red light.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he keeps us all in line.
Yeah, the first when we started talking during the break, I hit on. And then, like, a few seconds later, I looked down and it was off, so I hit it again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh, wait, maybe.
Yeah, that's what these little square ones are for. So I turn on these mics for breaks.
I see.
Yeah.
I had no idea what that was
Yeah.
when you put it on there.
What in the world is that? Oh, it's us. We're back. Real Animals Radio, 970 WFLA, talking fishing. And
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot.
And we got lots of good stuff to talk about this morning. We got our friend Justin Tramble from Tampa Bay Waterkeepers in studio with us this morning. And we've also got Ron from Ron's Tackle Box here on the line. We're going to go to him very shortly and talk about some freshwater fishing. But hopefully we want to hear from you as well. You can join us at 1-800-969-9352 if you want to join the conversation. With that, let's talk to our buddy Ron from Ron's Tackle Box. How you doing this morning, Ron?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to hear from our freshwater guru about the big bass this week. What was the big one?
Well, right at 10 pounds. Surprisingly, with this heat, we're catching a few nice-sized fish. A guy over here, Captain Mike, would like to hear this. Over here on Lake Alfred, on Wednesday, a guy caught an 8-pounder on a GoldenEye Maverick.
Wow.
Redhead with a chartreuse body, quarter-ounce size.
So that's a soft bait?
Kind of saltwater bait, but nice bass.
Wow. That is a big one, a 9-pounder.
Oh.
Well, how about the 10-pounder? Do you know what it was caught on?
The Booyah Royalty lipless crankbait.
Of course.
That and a 9-pounder. That was on Thursday evening.
That's awesome.
Right over here on Lake Rochelle in town.
That's awesome.
So we've had some nice fish this week. I'm very surprised with the heat because it's been so hot. But they turned on in the evening real good.
Yeah, and this weekend you might get some rain, get some water moving around, hopefully cool it down a little bit for you. Should be good this upcoming week, right?
Absolutely. The catfish bite has been good with a little running water. Bluegill beds, a lot of bluegill beds, so fish around them because there's always bass hanging out around the beds because that's a good feeding place for them. So keep that in mind if you see any kind of a bedding fish, tilapia, or a bluegill bed. There's always bass nearby. So that's been pretty decent. But beautiful panfish, too. The bluegill are really nice.
Nice.
When you can get out. You know, either go in the morning or the evening. Stay out of that midday because it's been brutal here in the heat.
Do the fish in the midday, like saltwater on the flats, that midday extreme sun, super hot temp, a lot of times those fish kind of slow down and don't actively feed or move around as much. I imagine it's
That's
the
right.
same on freshwater, right?
Yep, same thing. Yeah, it's kind of slacks off. But you can find some shady places around some tree lines and stuff that the fish are still thriving pretty good. So
Yeah.
but get out when you can, and this weekend's a good weekend. Be safe for sure. Use them life vests. That's what they're for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't take any chances of having an accident or drowning a family member. That's the most devastating thing in the world.
Amen to that.
So be careful out there.
Be
and
careful.
I want to wish all these fathers a great Father's Day, and
Yes, sir.
your kids need to take you out fishing for the day.
I like that. Switch it up, right, Ron?
Absolutely. I'm going out to Crystal River Sunday, so.
Awesome. Are you gonna? What are you doing up there? Are you going? Scallop season, I believe, is opening.
No, we're just going out. We rented a boat out of Plantation out there, and
Nice.
we're going to go out there and cruise the waters and fish a little bit and take the family out on the pontoon boat.
Awesome. going cruising on the river. Well, hopefully it'll be a little
Absolutely.
cooler up there. That water temperature stays at 72, so that'll be nice in the shade.
Yeah, usually pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Awesome, man. Well, tell everybody how they could catch up with you over there at Ron's Tackle Box.
Alrighty, I'm at 380 South Lakeshore Way, which is 1792 out here in Lake Alfred. In the area, there's 554 lakes you guys could fish on out here. So get a chance to come out and see me. My phone number is 863-956-4990.
Well, we appreciate it, Ron. Always appreciate our
Thank
freshwater
you.
guru giving us our freshwater report, and we'll talk to you again next week, brother.
Thank you.
See you, Ron. Always a pleasure chatting with Ron. Remember, you can call in and join the conversation at 1-800-969-9352. If you have a fishing question, fishing report, you want to ask Justin Tramble some questions about Tampa Bay waterkeepers, you can call in and join the conversation. We have Dan from St. Pete with a fishing report. How you doing this morning, Dan?
Hey, what's going on, Dylan? It's Dan the Fishman. How you doing, bro?
Oh, what's up, man? Dan the Fish
Hey,
Man.
man, living the dream.
Yeah, man. How are you doing over there? I know you've been tearing up some mangroves, and I saw a nice trout that you caught on Facebook. What's going on from the kayak?
Yeah, man. What's been going on from the kayak is pretty much get out there during the high tides. I know it's been hot and stuff, but if you can get through the heat and get out there during the high tides, and I've been busting the bushes, busting the mangroves, and just flicking it up in there with the mangroves and letting that tide and wind drift it back into them. And there's some snook and redfish, trout, jack crevalles, sheep's head are still biting. I'm catching it all, bro.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, and Ron mentioned it too in the freshwater, looking for those shaded areas during the summertime with this heat. The dissolved oxygen content of the water actually is so low, but in areas that are shaded and early morning, late afternoon through the night, you get higher dissolved oxygen content, and then an incoming tide brings in a lot of offshore water with higher dissolved oxygen because it's cooler at bottom temp. And so that all adds up to a better bite. So a high incoming tide underneath those mangroves is a great place to find actively feeding fish. And sounds like you're on top of them, huh? What's the hot bait that you're using?
I've been switching it up, but honestly, just free line and live shrimp. If they're lively, just flick them in there, and you'll see them try to swim out, let them sit, and the big snook will come out for them. I tried to pull one out, and he came right up to the kayak and just hammered it right next to the kayak. It was epic, bro. Epic.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So he followed your shrimp out of the mangroves all the way to the kayak, huh?
Yep, right next to it. And I've been playing with some pinfish as well. Seems like they're just smacking the pinfish. They're not taking them, so they're just sort of killing them.
Huh. Yeah, not as actively feeding on such a larger bait. It probably takes more energy for them to kind of digest such a large bait when they've got a lot of shrimp around, right?
Yeah, I'd rather have a shrimp than a pinfish myself, so I totally understand.
Dan, do you ever use cut bait, like with the pinfish?
I was messing with that yesterday, and I didn't have any luck. I was just getting little nibblers, and caught a catfish, unfortunately, but it was a big one.
Sometimes you run into those big sail cats. That's crazy. They can put up a pretty good fight, and people eat those sail cats. I don't know.
I don't know if I would, man.
I don't know if I would either. But
just out of principle, I can't eat one, man. You know what I mean?
Not a hardhead, a sail cat, but yeah, it definitely a hardhead is a no go on that one for sure. Hard pass.
Well, yes, sir. For those reasons, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I know you're working your way up to running charters, but you do have a YouTube channel. Tell everybody about that.
Oh yeah, my YouTube channel. It's just Dan the Fishman, all one word. All sorts of fishing. I actually have some trips from Hubbard's Marina on there, inshore trips, skyway trips, a lot from my kayak. I fish with my kids, fishing with friends on their boats, pretty much all in the fishing with charters, pretty much all in the Tampa Bay area. So I'm just doing my thing. My whole goal is like to not go crazy famous or anything. Like I just want to have one day to be able to show my grandkids like, hey man, I'm not just talking about it. Check this out. Your granddad was a cool dude and he caught some fish. So that's my goal, man. I just want to just sort of enjoy the ride and document what I'm doing. So it's going pretty well.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the call this morning, Dan, and look forward to seeing you again soon, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. Tight lines.
Tight lines, Dan. Awesome. He's a hard working fishy dude. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that's some real stuff right there. I'm gonna have to check him out.
Yeah. He does a lot of like hook and cooks on his YouTube channel too, and he just started it kind of recently, and really has done a really great job producing some of those videos. I enjoy them. So
yeah, cool.
Good to join. Now we've got Richard from the South Shore talking about small sharks, or has a question about small sharks. What's up, Richard?
Hey, good morning, Dylan. I've heard you talk about the proliferation of sharks recently, and I was just wondering, I seem to be seeing, I don't know, 3 or 4 every time I go, say, in the kayak up on the flats up there in the north end of the bay.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just curious if other people are seeing them. I think most of them are small black tips is what they look like. I know it's that time of year.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
I seem to be seeing more this year.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's an over-proliferation of sharks. Definitely an issue that a lot of people are seeing, and a lot of people have issues with, especially offshore fisheries. We've seen a big challenge with sharks as of late. And, go ahead.
I don't know if that's really a problem or not, because in nature, I think overpopulation pretty much take care of itself. But I'm just seeing a lot of them.
Yeah, and overpopulation would normally take care of itself, but when you talk about an apex predator like a shark, it's hard to control an overpopulation. It's similar to like coyotes or wolves, where they do the predator hunts, because an apex predator doesn't have anything really hunting it too much. So I believe personally that you can have an overpopulation of apex predators, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's difficult because
just look at people.
Exactly.
Just look at humans. We're definitely.
I'm a big boy. I take a lot of food.
Predator population.
Yes, but it is that time of year. You're right. This is the time of year the big females come in the bay and give birth to their live pups, and then the big males hang on the coastline to take care of any excess. So there's a lot of big sharks around and plentiful small sharks, and that'll only get more and more numerated as we go through the summertime and get through this kind of shark spawning season. So I'm sure it'll get worse. You'll see more of them before they start dissipating.
Right. Dylan, I tuned in a little bit late. Who is your guest this morning?
This morning we've got Justin Tramble from Tampa Bay Waterkeepers. He's the executive director of Tampa Bay Waterkeeper.
Good morning.
Okay, good. Good morning. Good morning. You guys are doing some good work out there on the bay. I think I've seen some of your flotillas setting out from Williams Park down here.
Yeah, we do stuff down in Williams Park. We do. We've got some cleanups. We actually go and do water testing. So yeah, we're pretty active in that area for sure.
Okay, is your organization mostly volunteer, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, so our organization, I've got a volunteer board. We've got it's grassroots, so it's a lot of fishermen, a lot of folks that just love the water and want to protect it. They get involved with our organization. We've got, memberships, for folks to join. Some of them are free, some of them are paying memberships, and we try to keep everybody in the loop with issues out there and also positive projects that are coming down the pipeline, that type of thing too. So I encourage you to look us up.
What's your website, Justin?
It's at tampabaywaterkeeper.org.
Gotcha.
I'll do that. We have seen some good improvement in the bay over the last few years, but we seem to be backsliding a little bit here. Maybe we can straighten it out, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look you guys up.
Yeah, sounds good.
We appreciate the call, Richard, as always. And hopefully you're catching them up on them trips.
A little bit. I'm getting out there. I'm not catching a whole lot right now, but then again, I haven't really been fishing that hard. I'll start kicking it in here soon. Been doing too much preparation and not enough fishing. All right.
Well, I appreciate the call.
We'll see y'all later.
See you, brother. Thank you. Always a pleasure to hear from Richard, South Shore fixture, and a great fisherman. And some questions for you this time from the callers. So remember, you can join the conversation, 1-800-969-9352 if you have questions for Justin Tramble and the Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, or you want to give a fishing report, or you have questions. We've got Glenn from Brandon with a tip for passing out. Hopefully avoiding to pass out, I assume. Right, Brandon? Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I got what we had in the military at one time. We was out on the flight line.
Yeah.
There was a medical person. She came out. She told everybody to turn their hats, put the bills in the, just turn the hats around. Somebody come out there and started raising hell. They asked them why everything was done like that. And they said, well, she told them, well, you want everybody to pass out because it's about 120 degrees out here. What it does is shades the back of your neck to make yourself a little cooler.
Interesting. Yeah, or just wearing a big hat that'll cover the front and back of your head. That's an awesome
with that, or
tip.
wear a Sherlock Holmes hat, the bill in the front and the bill in the back.
There you go. I like your style. Is that the hat of choice for you?
Not really.
No, me either.
I got burned the other day on the mower, so it doesn't really matter. I'm bald-headed anyway. I needed a good tan.
There you go. Well, we appreciate the tip, Glenn. Do you have any fishing reports or questions you want to add in?
No, I'll put it this way. I haven't been fishing since I lived up in West Virginia over 50-some years ago.
Well, we appreciate listening to the show.
I had a golden trout on the line, and it came in, started reeling it up and picking it up, and it dropped off the hook and took off.
Oh.
It was a heck with it. I haven't fished since. I was in the military for 20 years.
Well, we appreciate your service. Thank you very much for your service, and thanks for the call this morning.
You might want to let them know their hold line got a big AC hum in it.
Okay. We'll let John know, and I'm sure he can fix that like he fixes everything else. Thank you, Glenn. Thanks for the call.
You have a great day.
You too, man. Always a pleasure to hear from you guys. You can join the conversation, 1-800-969-9352. We got a few minutes here before our next break, so you do some cleanups as well. We talked a little bit about some of the accountability that Tampa Bay Waterkeepers uses to keep local municipalities and any bad actors kind of in check and know there's some repercussions to trying to dump sewage or gray water, and that's great to hear, and kind of working on being more proactive. The cleanups, though, that's interesting. Is that kind of water cleanup, shoreline cleanup? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we partnered with this company called Fresh Catch Coffee. They're a local company based out of St. Pete, actually, and they have these haul outs where we do sort of on water pickups. So we actually have one coming up next weekend, and you can check out the info on our website. I believe it's up there. It's going to be out of Davis Island Boat Ramp, so over in Tampa. But yeah, as much as we can get out in the community and get people excited about doing good stuff for the Bay, we're all about that. So, it's the good stuff, the fun part of the job.
Yeah.
We get a lot of families coming out and participating. So
cool. TampaBayWaterkeepers.org to see the upcoming events, right?
Yeah. TampaBayWaterkeeper.org. And I'd love to chat about a program that we're starting in July called the Patrol Program. It's a really cool opportunity for folks that are out on the water to get involved with, finding issues and reporting them appropriately. Cool. So that's a cool project, a cool initiative that would be really cool to get out to your listeners. So
awesome. Well, on the other side, we're going to talk more about that patrol program, and hopefully we'll hear from you as well. You can join the conversation, 1-800-969-9352. We'll be right back. Real Animals on the other side.
Hi, I'm Peter Jr. at Bartow Ford. No matter how much advertising we do at Bartow Ford, we still believe word of mouth is our best form of advertisement. That's why we are so particular about the pre-owned vehicles we'll sell to our customers. If the Bartow Ford name is on the back, it must live up to the highest standards no matter what make or model. Because, let's face it, our reputation is the number one reason.
put the ball on the tee for the next thing.
Yeah, that was professional as it gets. I was
What's
like, all
that?
right.
Will Ferrell's character, Anchorman?
Yeah.
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 There you go.
How now, brown cat? Scotch. I love Scotch. Every time I do a news segment or the radio show, I always think that.
Stay classy, Tampa Bay. I think I'd wear a shirt that said "Stay classy, Tampa Bay."
Mm-hmm. We could use that for sure. Uh-oh. Robert, thanks for the heads up, Robert Riggs. I'll turn up the radio volume. All right, so he turned it up a little bit, so you shouldn't have that problem now, Robert Riggs.
Yeah, I find oftentimes this time of year using cut bait under the mangroves.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Or like cut ladyfish even.
Yeah. Cut ladyfish, cut redfins, cut pinfish. Dan the Fishman is at work. Called in from work. That's awesome. Yeah, we got the volume turned up, guys. Thanks for the heads up. That's a good question. Big O asked, what are the subtle things we can do for water quality? It's a good topic.
Yeah. You want to answer that now or on air?
Probably on air.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. We'll talk about that patrol program and then some things that people can do to kind of get involved and help.
That's definitely a really good question for sure.
Write that down so I forget. Things you can do to help water quality.
For more information about contests on this station, go to WFLAnews.com/rules. It's more than just a national pastime
Nope.
to us.
Thought it was us. Tricked me. So this next segment's pretty short, and we have our safe boating tip. So I don't know if we're gonna have time on this one, but then after the next break, we'll have a longer segment where we can hit that patrol program.
Yep.
We're back. Real Animals Radio, Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio show this morning on beautiful News Radio 970 WFLA here in the iHeartMedia Empire on this steamy Saturday morning on June 18th. We are live on air, chatting fishing and talking about the Tampa Bay Waterkeepers with our good buddy Justin Tramble, who's the executive director of Tampa Bay Waterkeepers. And myself, Captain Dylan Hubbard, and unfortunately no Captain Mike this morning. We're flying solo without the big man, but hopefully we'll find our way, and you can join the conversation and help us at 1-800-969-9352. We've got our good buddy Captain Jim Fogel on the line with our safe boating tip of the week. We've been talking a lot about staying hydrated. Good morning, Captain Jim. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Good, guys. Good. Yeah, it looks like a pretty morning out there, but I'm sure it's hotter than blazes.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be another steamy one today for sure. And this weekend's going to be one of those weekends I'm a little concerned about safety. We have so many people going out there right now for the opening of Private Red Snapper. And this weekend's definitely one of those weekends where weather forecasts can be a little tricky because we have that little low pressure stalling out, creeping down. We're going to have some storms moving in. So definitely a weekend you got to keep an eye on the horizon.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I want to talk about a couple of accidents we've had here lately.
Okay, go ahead.
Last Sunday, Hillsborough County law enforcement, Marine units, and Good Samaritans rescued 11 people from the water over near Beer Can in Tampa Bay.
11 people? Holy moly.
The 11 people had been on a 20-foot boat, as I understand it, 20 feet long boat.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
Now, and what we need to really call people's attention to is the fact that just because a boat has a capacity plate that says 10 or 12 or 15 or 8 doesn't mean that that's a good thing. You can't possibly move around a 20-foot boat with 11 people. They can't possibly all have seats.
No way.
I don't think.
Yeah, and it depends on the people, too. I mean, I used to have a small Carolina skiff, and we could put 8 or 9 of us kids on there. It was a 17-footer, but you put 8 or 9.
You and Big Ben probably
exactly.
wouldn't. You and Big Ben wouldn't do well in it.
Yeah, me, Capt, Mike, and Big Ben, we're probably maxing out a 10-person rated boat.
I think that would, yeah. There's another one that happened yesterday. My source tells me that a cabin cruiser ran aground right outside the entrance to Big Bayou in Tampa Bay. Wow. And at least one person had to be removed from the vessel by paramedics on a stretcher. Story supposedly was that a person was driving the boat and then had to go downstairs or wanted to go downstairs into the cabin and gave the helm to somebody else who promptly or shortly thereafter ran the boat aground and injured the person that was in the cabin.
Wow. Sad.
So there's several things going on there. Number one, we want to always be careful and slow down when somebody goes into a cabin like that, unless it's a very, very large boat. My understanding is this boat was about 45 feet or so.
Wow.
The other thing is, besides slowing down, you really need to make sure whoever's got the helm knows what's going on and or pays more attention when they're at the helm. Yeah. Well, hopefully this person wasn't hurt that bad, and we'll be back on the water shortly. But it could have been a really tragic thing, and it may have been tragic. I haven't heard a report this morning.
Wow.
Point is, we just got to be careful, guys. We got to be careful out there. We always got to be careful. Mother Nature is not very forgiving.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate the safe boating tip as always. Thank you so much, Captain Jim, for keeping us safe out there.
Thank you, Captain Dillon, for the Coast Guard Auxiliary in St. Pete. Jim Fogel. Be safe out there.
Awesome. Awesome stuff there. Remember, you can join the conversation too, 1-800-969-9352. And also, before we end up here on our first hour, I want to remind y'all, June 21st, coming up this week, 6 to 8 p.m. at Bartow Ford, we've got the Real Animals Fishing Conversation with Bobby Lane. Capt Mike and Bobby Lane are going to be talking all about fishing at beautiful Bartow Ford, 6 to 8 p.m., June 21st. They got Silver Ring Cafe providing Cubans and the amazing deviled crab. You don't want to miss out. Going to have lots of free gifts and giveaways and a great time June 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. So hopefully you can join for that. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back talking more about fishing and Tampa Bay waterkeepers. Real Animals Radio.
The preceding program was paid for by Real Animals Fishing.
WFLA.
I think I fixed our sound problem, guys. Sorry about that, y'all. I didn't catch it. When I plugged into the computer to the board, I didn't realize that microphone was turned down. So I think we got it figured out.
They can just see us talking, but not hear us talking. Huh?
Yeah, well, they could hear us on break fine, but then when it went back from break to the radio feed was turned down. Amateur hour over here, sorry.
Okay, my wife is awake officially, so now I cannot talk about her shoe collection.
I know. I think the same thing. That I'm like, all right, first hour of the show, I'm safe. I know that she's not gonna be listening, but
The shoe collection is safe.
it's the same with my live show. Like first half hour or so, I know I'm safe, but she always checks in towards the end of the show because on my live show, I drink a little bit of whiskey. So towards the end of the show, she always checks in to see if I've been enjoying myself too much or not. So I know I'm on thin ice towards the end of the show. But that's what I love about her. Keeps me on the straight and narrow.
For sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did this just come out? You know,
I'm not sure. I saw like yesterday they were talking about it. I guess, but I didn't know. They both just went over there to help, I guess. And,
a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Me too.
It's like, oh, there's a war going on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's volunteer. And it's a lot of vets.
It is. That's
like
what
that.
I think one of them. Yeah. See.
Yeah. Crazy. Service to our country and any country. They believe what's right. It's pretty powerful. Get on a plane to go to a foreign country and show up and be like, hey, heard there's a war here. I'm here to help.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It makes you pause, you know, when you're here enjoying being out on the water and not thinking about any issues, and then you got other people blowing themselves up.
I mean, obviously water quality is a big thing and it's important, but we're talking about water quality and there's a war going on. It's crazy.
Water quality, though, especially with like the global organization that the Waterkeeper Alliance is.
Yeah.
When we talk about Waterkeeper, a lot of times we're talking about because we love to
fish and
stuff. When other people are talking about water quality, they're talking about
drinking water.
We need drinking water.
Wow.
You know?
So the water keepers in like other countries, a lot of times, that's first world problems.
It certainly is.
Here in America, the water keeper's about keeping our water safe so we can enjoy it.
Right.
And take our $1 million boats out.
So we are part of our missions fishable, swimmable, drinkable, and at some point that'll be a thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right, but you know, right now it's not necessarily the focus, but other places, even in this country, it's an issue still. Like remember Flint?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
crazy. And I think there's going to be a problem in Florida too, sucking all the water out of our aquifers.
Yeah.
That can't be sustainable, especially with how many people are moving here.
Yeah.
They pull a lot of water out of Okeechobee.
They do. They do.
It's crazy.
When it comes to keeping the real animals team on the water, nobody does it better than TA Mahoney Company. They have a full-service boat and trailer service.
TA Mahoney Company. Do you watch hockey?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be up late tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight's game too, right?
Tonight's game 2.
Yeah. The finals, it seems like the games are more spread out, huh?
Yeah, leading up to this series, it was every other day.
Yeah.
So it was weird last night not having a game.
So now it's every 2 days?
I think so, yeah.
That makes sense. During the finals, they want to give them more rest and play out a little bit more.
And it prolongs the series,
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Hopefully.
tonight will be easier, but like when the games are during the week, those 8 o'clock games, the puck doesn't usually drop till like close to 8:30, and the game's not done until midnight. I feel like.
Yeah.
We just live tired.
Yeah.
management, or parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated.
Welcome to the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, your weekly voyage into Florida fishing. Presented by Hubbard's Marina, hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Real Animals Radio on News Radio 970 WFLA. The Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, brought to you by Hubbard's Marina, is back for our second hour. Unfortunately, only our second hour, no third hour anymore. But we do want to give a shout out to our friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. If you need a new roof or a roof repair, check out our friends over at Affordable Roofing Systems. They understand that your roof is a large investment and protects most everything you own. Let Affordable Roofing Systems' 3 decades of experience and roofing knowledge guide you through that important process. Whether you need a shingle, metal, tile, or flat roof, Affordable Roofing Systems is your safest choice for roof repairs or replacements. And Affordable Roofing Systems is defined by integrity, respect, and honesty, and they have a professionalized and personal approach to doing business. Call Affordable Roofing Systems today at 888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit their website at affordableroofingflorida.com. So with that, we've got some callers. We've got Steven from Southeast Fishing Tackle Liquidators on the line. How you doing over there at Southeastern, Steven?
Good, good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, brother. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Just another day in paradise, surviving. So what's going
Yeah,
on? What's the
man,
hot
red
bite?
snapper season's open, so no
Yeah.
complaints there. The fishing's been real good inshore too.
Nice.
Grouper's open. Yeah, it's good. No complaints.
Are you catching some keeper grouper in the bay?
So I've actually had a dolphin pluck one and then been rocked, unfortunately, but I think they're around. I've
Yeah.
caught a bunch of shorts, but haven't landed my keeper inshore yet.
Yeah, I've been hearing the grouper bites going well in Tampa Bay. Just a lot of shorts right now. When
Yeah.
the water's hot.
Definitely a lot of bites, artificial and bait. Obviously, they love pinfish, but I really enjoy getting them on artificial lures like the Rapala lures and jigs and no live bait needed.
Nice. Are you trolling
Kind of
for
real
them?
fun when you have to lock down and pull them out of the rocks.
Nice. Are you trolling for them?
No, from land sometimes we'll throw deep divers, but I don't have a boat, so I don't get to troll as much.
I gotcha. So you're shore fishing these guys.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I know the people over at the Skyway typically do pretty darn well on them, especially when that water cools down and more bigger gags will move into the bay. But it's cool to hear that your guys are already on top of them, even from shore. You there, Justin? Or Steven? Did we lose you? Uh-oh.
Sorry, you're going in and out. I heard you talking about people at the Skyway doing pretty good, and I know the gags are pretty concentrated in that area.
Yeah. That's cool, though, that you're getting them from shore all over. What else are you catching besides the gags?
Well, there's been a lot of tarpon mixed in. Pretty much every spot I've hit, I've randomly just seen a tarpon or hooked into a tarpon.
Nice.
Majority of the time I'm snook fishing, though, and the snook fishing has been real good. They're out of season, so you got to keep them wet, short fights, and release them real quick. Like, don't hang around trying to get a picture or anything, but there's a lot of really nice snook being caught right now off the beaches and in the passes.
Amen to that. They're choked in John's Pass right now. So what's your favorite lure when you're targeting snook?
I usually really like throwing the NLBN. It's a jig head with a soft plastic, but the jig head has a twist lock.
Nice.
So I find that I really like those because my bait won't pull off after catching a couple fish. But lately it seems like the bigger fish are keyed in on bigger baits. So I've been throwing like 9-inch swim baits and flare hawks.
Nice.
Basically a bucktail with like a really long trailer. and it seems like they really want that big bait, that big profile.
Awesome. Well, that's a great tip. Thanks for the call this morning, Stephen. How would people find you over there at Southeastern and come pick your brain some more?
I work pretty much every day. And if I'm not in there, there's a couple of my buddies there that I fish with every night, and they'll know just the same thing that I'm telling you.
Awesome.
But, yeah, Southeastern's open 9 a.m. to 6 most days. Sunday we're open 10 to 4, and there's a good chance I'm in there.
Well, thanks for the call this morning, brother, and I'm sure we'll be chatting with you again next week. Good luck on those gags.
All right, thanks for having me, man.
See you, buddy. Definitely cool to see those local tackle shops with people like Steven, so ate up with fishing and so knowledgeable. So pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool. He's catching gags from the shore.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on the Skyway.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I know a lot of folks troll like the shipping channel edges and stuff. So to hear that that's a consistent fishery for him is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got to know where to go. Hopefully he's keeping that one
undercover.
I know he said he fishes around downtown Tampa quite a bit, but that would be pretty incredible to have a place. I guess some of those docks are pretty deep that could definitely keep some keeper gags, but it's early. It's so hot. Once it cools down, we'll definitely see more of those keeper-sized gags moving into the bay. We've got Captain Gene Hammond from Reelin' Freedom on the line. How you doing, Captain Gene?
Good morning. How's it going, fellas?
We're alive. We're awake.
How's it going? We're alive. Boy, you're right about that. The gag bite in close up there at in the Newport Richey area has been very slow with keeper grouper. When I talk near shore, I went trolling in 25 to 30 feet of water and just a bunch of shorts. So most of the big boys, I guess, are moving out. But, in the wintertime, late November, early December, we're pulling up 35-inch fish on those spots. So it's water's pretty warm. It's near 90 degrees, but just wanted to put a big shout out to all of our sponsors that helped out, and Mark up there at Widow Fletcher's in Newport Richey for hosting our event last weekend. It was a sloppy day for our teams. Pretty rough out there, but we had such a good time with Captain Tommy and the Bearded Brothers Band entertaining us before, during, and after. And I even got a couple of veterans to go out with me this week and caught some redfish, snook, and trout. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear the Reeling Freedom.
What a good time.
I talked well.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I said I'm glad the Reeling Freedom tournament went so well. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was our first annual grouper slam. We're going to do it every year. Everybody loves it up there, and the venue's awesome up there. You gotta come see us next time. Yeah. And we're going to book a whole 10-hour all-day on your boats and get about 30 or 40 veterans out at one time this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Go to reelingfreedom.com. Thank you, everybody, for your service and raising your right hand to support and defend. We appreciate you.
Amen to that. Land of the free because of the brave. Thank you this morning.
There you go, buddy.
Thank you for the call, Captain Gene. And Reeling Freedom, what's the website again?
Yeah, go to reelingfreedom.org. Reelingfreedom.org. And everybody knows how to get a hold of me. Just give me a call.
All righty. Well,
thank you.
We appreciate it, Captain Gene. Thanks for the call this morning, buddy.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate you.
See you, man. We also got Captain Rick Gross from Bradenton with a fishing report. How you doing this morning, Captain Rick?
Good morning, Dylan. How are you? Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And, looking forward to Father's Day weekend. And happy Father's Day to you as well. How's the fishing going?
I had a real mixed bag this week. I did a little freshwater fishing, and then I've had a couple charters. And it's been the freshwater fishing. I fished for bluegill with poppers and caught all I wanted. And the inshore fishing, the trout bite's been real good. A lot of speckled trout, silver trout mixed in on the deep water grass. That bite's been real good. A few big mackerel mixed in. But yesterday morning, we were trying for snapper on the Skyway in the morning. And we got one nice snapper right off the bat. And that was about it for, gosh, I don't know how long, for a couple hours. We ended up getting one mackerel that hit the guy's bait that he had just hanging from the side of the boat. I mean, it was right next to the boat. And then caught a little cobia. And that was pretty much the morning bite until about 11:15. I decided to go offshore and fish some of the near shore reefs, and we ended up getting into a few permits. So it's been bluegill, cobia, snook, permit, mackerel, trout. It's been a good week. It's just been mixed up.
That is quite the mixed bag. From near shore to inshore to fresh water, you do it all.
Oh yeah. But the freshwater fishing, I'm not taking anybody but my buddies. I've got a little Genu, and I know Mike wanted to go on it. I don't know. I was looking at the capacity on that Genu. I don't know if him and I could be in the same Genu.
Yeah, that would be stretching it. We'll have to check in with Captain Jim Fogel on that one. But it is always fun. Those skinny water. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's my report. We had a good week. I hope everybody has a good weekend with Father's Day, and the weather looks good. So fishing's still been good.
Well, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
The best way is go through Real Animals, but my
Oh, we lost him. Captain Rick Gross, Fishy Business LLC, Fishy Business Charters. But yes, you can always get a hold of Captain Rick Gross through Captain Mike Anderson at 866 Gamefish if you want to book a charter with Captain Rick Gross. Really cool guy, super fun, and definitely makes it an interesting trip for sure. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the patrol program. We only have a few minutes here before our next break, but we're definitely going to get through this. So tell us a little bit about what that upcoming program is at Tampa Bay Waterkeepers.
So I've been, out on the water the last 8 years here in Tampa Bay area. And I'm a captain myself, and I honestly don't know how to report issues out on the water.
Yep.
Whether that's, macroalgae, which anecdotally there's a lot of reports of some algae issues in the bay, especially upper bay, or, pollution issues, fish kills. And so there's a need for folks like us that are out on the water to properly communicate when we see stuff, because a lot of the folks making decisions or folks, working for the state, municipalities, they can't be out on the water as much as we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the patrol program is a program that we're launching next month through Tampa Bay Waterkeeper, where folks take a virtual, it's like a 30-minute or so course to learn what the issues are, what the pollution issues are, what type of issues are reportable. And then once they pass that, they're considered, Tampa Bay Waterkeeper patrollers, and they are armed with the contact information because pretty much every day I get calls saying like, hey, Justin, there's a fish kill. There's a few dead fish floating in the canal at Treasure Island, or we were offshore running through acres of dead bait. Folks call me. So the patrol program is a way to properly get that information to the appropriate folks. So,
and that's going to be through your website?
That's going to be tampabaywaterkeeper.org. Look for that. We're going to put out a big release probably July, August. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Great idea for sure. And definitely going to be talking more about that. And a question came up on the stream about some things that we can all do, subtle ways that we can help improve water quality and work to improve area fisheries and such. So we're going to talk about that some more too. And coming up to the end of the show, but you can still join the conversation, 1-800-969-9352. Real Animals Radio will be right back.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
That means it's a good show.
Yeah.
When it flies by.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Hopefully,
we got a lot of calls this morning. Sometimes you have a guest that you want to talk to and you want to cover a lot of stuff, and then you get a lot of calls and it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And then other times you'll be in here hoping for some calls and they don't come.
Yeah.
It's always
well, having us on helps exposure-wise for sure. So.
I had a question.
Yeah.
In the same vein of what you guys were just talking about.
Yeah.
How do do you guys ever get calls on, let's say, some of the waters, let's say specifically around Ben T. Davis or something like that, because that's pretty polluted water with all the boats and skis that come through.
Yeah.
I don't know how much fishing is actually done in that area, but also I know periodically they'll get, I don't know if it's algae blooms or just bad bacteria that, basically, they'll put advisories saying, hey, don't go in the water.
Yeah.
How does that affect fishing or, anything in that area?
It certainly does affect.
Ben T. Davis, what are you talking about? What area?
So right off the
Causeway.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Whiskey Joe's, that area.
Oh, I got you.
There's a ton of traffic that goes through,
Yeah.
where Hogan's was. And
Yeah, and that water is so shallow and so hot,
And it doesn't
it's
really move too
stagnant.
much, yeah.
So
I don't know if there's actually a lot of fishing activity in the area, but I know I'm familiar with the area. I used to work around there.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's boats nonstop every day the entire summer. So
there's a lot of fishing up there in those backwaters, but
especially in the winter too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be a question for on air, or if that'd be something that.
Well, I'm going to talk about, because we fill the municipal gaps in water testing. So we test for bacteria levels. We've got 10 sites right now that we test where there's no overlap. It's usually in the responsibilities of like the counties and cities to do the test. So right now we will say, hey, there's high bacteria levels at Williams Park, for instance. But other than that, there's not anything actionable we're doing other than communicating it. And then that's when you see, like, if you're ever like in downtown St. Pete by North Shore, they flip the signs that say like don't swim. It's because there's like ridiculously high levels of bacteria.
For sure, yeah.
But it all comes down to like infrastructure, and it's a lot of that area is like that because of the runoff and
Runoff, just and like I said, a lot of jet skis, a lot of boat pollution, stuff like that. Because as you mentioned, the water is so shallow.
Yeah.
and it doesn't move. That's the biggest problem.
Oh yeah, it's stuck in that little
Basic. Yeah.
That question of like what can you do? I could probably talk for 45 minutes about
It's a whole nother show.
because I want to mention about the water quality testing, the patrol program, sort of like low-hanging fruit, but questions like that.
Well, what we can do is kind of prompt it at the end of the show, and then kind of tie up some of that on the Facebook Live.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, these types of conversations could literally be like a half day, like especially when you get folks that are passionate about it. And
and that's what makes it tough on the radio, because we have the breaks and callers will call. Yeah, we do the live show Sunday night, and we could do that, or we could just do a separate one, where we just record it. I'm open to that. We have a studio.
Cool.
I love how that's a job. That's someone's job to talk really fast on the radio.
I know.
For all the side effects.
Do you think they take their work home? Like they talk to their kids like
They speed talk like that all the time.
Like his wife's like, you have to not leave your work at work.
That's hilarious. We're back. Real Animals Radio. Bartow Ford Real Animals News Radio 970 WFLA. Talking fishing and talking with our good buddy Justin Tramble from Tampa Bay Waterkeepers about some water quality stuff. And that patrol program you mentioned seemed pretty cool. And we face the same thing with our federally permitted offshore fishery. I recently started a kind of a new division or new region of the Florida Guides Association, an offshore region, West Coast offshore, federally permitted. And we had a meeting with the United States Coast Guard, FWC, and NOAA Fisheries. And that's basically what it centered around was, where do you report X thing?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a boat operating that the captain doesn't have a captain's license, or you see a boat operating with too many people on it, or you see someone fishing where they shouldn't be fishing, where they don't have a permit, and how to properly report and where to properly report. Because, like, if you see a sea turtle stranded or entangled, there's one number that you should call. If you see a whale in trouble, there's another number you should call. And it so many different jurisdictions and things involved. That makes it tricky. So I get the same thing. I get a lot of phone calls. Hey, Dylan, I saw this. Who should I call?
Yeah.
And I have a full Word document page of numbers of people and names of who you should contact if you see X, Y, or Z on the wall.
Yeah, we should have contacted you before all the work that we put in. Because, yeah, we kind of did the same thing. We've worked with a lot of the municipalities, a lot of the entities that are there to figure out how do we properly report these things. And a lot of our stuff is like gas spills, sediment being dumped into the canals, that type of thing. I mean, those are the calls that I get. And people just don't know. Like, if we don't even know, how do we expect, like,
average Joe,
right? Yeah. I mean, I am, just full disclosure, I'm an average Joe.
We're all average Joes, but if you don't do it for a living, you're not as motivated to be up to speed on
for sure
what exactly to do. So a homeowner sees something in their canal, they're going to be a lot less prepared. So it's really cool to hear Tampa Bay Waterkeepers is starting that patrol program next year through their website. And I like those little things where you can hop on and take a 10, 15, 20, 30-minute course and gain some education and knowledge, and then be armed with the correct contact information. That sounds really cool. I'll definitely be doing that myself, just for the knowledge of it. It's pretty cool. And along those same lines, if you guys haven't done it yet, make sure you check out Return 'em Right. So returnemright.org. That is a little 10, 15-minute course you can take on barotrauma and barotrauma mitigation. So if you're offshore fishing in federal waters, as of January 13th this year, the Release Act was passed, and you have to have a descending device or a venting tool rigged and ready when you're offshore fishing in federal waters for reef species. So grouper, snapper, anything like that, you have to have a release device, a venting tool or descending device rigged and ready. So you can go to returnemright.org and take that little short 10, 15-minute course, and they will actually send you over $100 in absolutely free stuff. 2 descending devices and the weight, and one's fully rigged and ready. All you have to do is tie it on your line, and you're compliant with that new Release Act. So definitely check out Return 'em Right. I can't ever. It's hard to spell it out, but returnemright.org. And very important when you're offshore fishing to make sure you're properly handling the fish. One thing that you kind of talked about is safe handling. And it's so funny inshore, someone will like catch a trout and they'll wet their hands and hold their breath when they take it out of the water. And they're so careful with these inshore species. Steven from Southeastern mentioned it with these breeding snook. You got to be so careful. But then that same person will go offshore and that care is lost. And I really want to try to kind of revamp that culture of making sure we're doing safe handling, best practices, and returning these fish right so we can earn another fight in the future. Really, really important. So make sure you check them out at returnemright.org. And the patrol program at tampabaywaterkeepers.org next month sounds like another great program to gain some knowledge and be armed with the proper know-how. Remember, you can join the conversation this morning. Call us in with fishing questions, reports, anything at 1-800-969-9352. Real Animals Radio will be right back on the other side. In a minute, we're going to be right back. I pulled the trigger too early. Sorry, guys. We'll be right back.
News, traffic, and weather. Top and bottom of every hour.
News Radio WFLA, an iHeart radio station.
Oops.
An investigation is under.
Our buddy Dukes was on the phone, and I pulled the trigger. He didn't have his finger on the button.
Yeah,
that's what makes our show special.
What? It's like jazz.
Yeah.
It's like a fish concert. That's what it really is.
Yeah, exactly.
Improv. Yeah, I'm excited about that patrol program because I think, like with COVID, so many people, like the water feels like you're on 275, even like on a Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So there's so many people out on the water that it's, although a lot of us kind of hate that to a certain extent, we also, as an organization, we want to use it as an asset, more eyes on the water, more ability to communicate.
Yeah, more eyes on the water helps. It's more eyeballs watching the health of the water.
Yeah, and we, we don't necessarily want to have this adversarial role with like municipalities or other organizations. We want to partner, and this is a perfect way to use our megaphone right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good way for Florida Guides Association to partner more with Tampa Bay Waterkeepers to amplify that patrol program message and get all the guides in Tampa Bay area signed up on that. Is that patrol program going to be expanded to like Suncoast Waterkeepers and stuff, or is this something unique to Tampa Bay?
It's relatively unique to Tampa Bay. I believe Suncoast is going to do something similar though.
Okay.
But so the estuary program, they want more information about macroalgae blooms. So we've gotten like a lot of captains that have reached out saying like, hey, there's this weird algae growing in places that I've never seen it before. The estuary program has basically reached out to us saying, any info that your captains, folks that are engaged with your organization can get us in terms of where people are seeing that is super helpful for them to get a better handle on it.
Yeah.
Because that's something in every conversation I have with captains that comes up. It's like, hey, there's like a crazy amount of algae growth in the Upper Bay, or even like out by Fort DeSoto right now.
Yeah, that gorilla snot stuff.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that in Johns Pass, but I feel like that's kind of, that gorilla snot thing is kind of that's more kind of naturally occurring, right?
It's
that's
naturally
something I've always
occurring,
seen.
but I think if it's excessive, that's when it becomes an issue. With like, I mean, I think, and I'm not a scientist, but I think it could kill grass if it becomes too much.
Yeah.
And I think there are areas where it is a lot. But in order for the scientists to be able to know, they have to have that data, and we can be the conduit that, by virtue of us having this network of fishing folks that follow our organization, we can essentially, it's citizen science. We can provide data. Hey, this is where we're seeing it. It's easy because they know what to look for.
And my friend Casey Streeter down in Fort Myers, Naples area, he's a commercial fisherman, and he does a lot of the citizen science for FWRI with the red tide water quality testing. So he goes out on all his trips. He and all his captains, they have this water quality testing kit.
They do like a vial.
And so they do a lot of that, kind of covering the gaps in FWRI water testing. Like when you see that red tide map and you see a lot of those offshore sites that have been tested, it was almost all him and his boats.
So that type of like method, the collaborative approach to solving these issues, I think is where there could be so much opportunity. There is so much opportunity. So that's sort of the same spirit of this patrol program, is using like that model.
Oh, that's awesome. We got a lot of callers lined up here. Justin Moore's next, so that's Scott Moore's son, so he's probably talking about water quality.
Yeah, I think he's taken out a board member or two as well.
Yeah. Scott is still fishing quite a bit, but not as hard as his son, Justin. Justin's always on the water. So he's probably, Scott's probably more involved just because of the virtue that he has the time to be. Justin runs like triples. He's an animal.
Good like IV. Is he sponsored by Gatorade?
There's a place like that in St. Pete Beach that does the IVs.
Oh yeah,
I've always wanted to try that.
I'm like generally afraid of. I don't like.
Yeah, me too. I don't like needles. Yeah. But there's this one doctor up at my house. He doesn't take my insurance, or he'd be my primary care. He's a wild man, and he does not an IV thing, but a injection thing.
Oh yeah.
So you can go like once a week, and it's a multivitamin injection.
It's like B12 and multivitamin.
Yeah, like this cocktail of vitamins. instead of taking it, injects it into your body.
Get in my veins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running triples, that is animal-like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Good.
definitely
He
a
could
lot.
probably pitch a sponsorship to like Powerade, Gatorade.
You could. That'd be nice. Pulling that off would be a feat.
Right.
Is game 2 in Tampa?
Denver.
So it's 2-2, yeah.
Man, I was trying to. Becca and I were looking at trying to get my wife, and the tickets are like. They're saying this is like the most expensive Stanley Cup
ever.
Yeah.
Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Good morning. We're back. Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio on News Radio 970 WFLA and the beautiful iHeartMedia Empire Studios. And it's a hot and steamy Saturday morning on June 18th here. And we've got a pretty full board filling up here with some callers. We got Captain Justin Moore, Donald from Lutz, and Erica Almond with the Suncoast Ladies Tournament all online here. So we're going to try to get to everyone. And first, Captain Justin Moore, probably waiting to get out there with your clients, huh, Justin? How are you this morning, buddy?
Hey, guys. Good morning, Justin. Good morning. Nice to meet you. Hope we get to meet in person someday.
For sure. Good morning, man.
I just wanted to give a shout out. Yeah, Tampa Bay Waterkeepers and both Suncoast Waterkeepers are really doing some really great things. We got Rusty Chinnis is our executive director down here, and of course Adam Fernandez is a buddy of mine, and just really, really important, that everybody realizes it all comes back to good water quality, the health of the bottom, and even from mangrove trimmings to excess mangrove cutting to, just keeping a good proactive, watch on everything. And so I just want to tell you, you guys are doing really, really wonderful things. So.
Well, we appreciate the call, man, and I agree. And it's been an honor having Justin in the studio this morning talking more about this water quality stuff and all the great things Tampa Bay Waterkeepers is working on, for sure. Are you going out fishing today, Justin?
Sorry, you guys are breaking up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Are you going out fishing today?
Yeah. No, I got the weekend off this morning, or today off anyway, and we're my son's got some baseball stuff going on, so
awesome.
Taking a few Saturdays off and probably take the kids to dip a few crabs, get caught up, get ready to start another work week here.
So your day off is preparation for the rest of the week, but that's cool. Getting the kids out there catching crabs, I'm sure that's a lot of fun. And happy Father's Day to you, brother.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. You guys are breaking up really bad. I can barely hear you. Everybody have a great Father's Day weekend.
See you, brother.
Everybody.
Thanks for calling. We lost him. But Donald from Lutz, what's going on this morning, Donald?
Hey, good morning, Captain Dylan. Hey, so far in my family, my son was 2 when he caught his first fish. My daughter was 2. My grandson was 2. He'll be 13 in July, which I can't believe it. But I've got my 2.5-year-old, my son's daughter. We're heading to that fishing derby. I know that you donated a bunch of stuff. Captain Lisa Fitzgerald is going to be there. The Mayor Jane Castor is going to be there. A lot of captains and guides, and a lot of everybody has really stepped up to the plate to help this thing grow really big. So I was like one of the first ones to sign up my granddaughter the day that it started. The sign-ups, and so I picked her up from daycare yesterday. She slept over last night. We're on our way right now. So it's going to be exciting. I want her to catch her first fish, at the same age of 2.
That's awesome.
So
well,
it's going to be awesome.
Keep the tradition alive. Thank you, Donald, for the call, and thanks for the shout-out to that Kids Fishing Classic. That's going to be over at Picnic Island, right?
I'm having a lot of trouble with hearing this.
Yeah, we lost you, Donald.
Is that better?
Oh, now I can hear you. It sounds like the wind tunnel cleared up.
Yeah, I had it on Bluetooth, but
I gotcha.
it's going to be a lot of fun today. A lot of kids. captains and guys really stepping up today.
Cool. And that's
I
over
know,
at Picnic
Mike
Island, right?
Mahoney and you and a bunch of other people, have put in a lot of donations for rods, reels, and all sorts of goodies.
Well, we'll see you over there.
Great time out there at Picnic Island.
Yeah. It's at 9 o'clock, right?
Yes.
9 o'clock, Picnic Island. First 150 kids get a free combo, and they're talking all about teaching these kids how to get hooked on fishing. So thanks for the call this morning, Donald.
Absolutely, Dylan. We'll talk to you later.
All
See you
right,
later, buddy.
See ya. Always a pleasure talking to our friend Donald from Lutz, the kayak champion. Erica Almond with Suncoast Ladies Tournament is on the line. How you doing this morning, Erica?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Another day in paradise here. You guys are getting ready for a tournament coming up, right?
Yes, we are starting the first annual Suncoast Ladies Classic out of Marina Cantina in Clearwater. It is a multi-species tournament for women only, and it's offshore. So we're super excited about it. I know we have, the inshore offshore one coming up in June, but the nice thing about this is we are trying really hard to make this tournament where women can participate even if they don't have a boat, want to learn more. We are going to hold seminars so that any female that wants to fish can, where they learn how to target the species that are in the tournament, and we are going to pair them up with local captains if they don't have a boat or a team, and we'll put them with teams. We're going to have CCA, the FWC, and Coastal Cleanup there to offer information about our fisheries so we can teach about conservation, because I want this to really be informational for them as well for the tournament.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's coming up July 21st through the 23rd.
That's cool. And you can get signed up. How do you get signed up?
If you go to www.suncoastladiesclassic.com, there's a registration tab there. Our proceeds go to a local charity called Ready for Life of Pinellas County, where they support youth aging out of foster care. So I really like that also. I'm super excited.
That's awesome. And I appreciate all your help this past week, helping me and Daniel Krogel from St. Pete Fishing Outfitters and the Eco Preservation Project getting those artificial reefs placed. Definitely couldn't have done it without your help getting all those homes and docks lined up for us. And I know Captain Planet Garrett Stewart is on his way today to pick up all the artificial reefs that St. Pete Fishing Outfitters, Tampa Fishing Outfitters have donations paid for to build those artificial reefs, and getting them placed today. Exciting stuff. Thank you.
It is. I know that. I'm super excited about it too, and I appreciate you reaching out. What a great project.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited about it and excited to get more of those reefs in the water, soften our shoreline, and help promote clean water. So thanks for doing your part and being so involved.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Well, we appreciate the phone call this morning, and hopefully you guys have a great tournament this upcoming weekend. Looks like advanced forecasts look gorgeous, so I hope it's a great time. Thanks for the call this morning.
Thank you. Have a good day.
See you, Erica. Ladies fishing tournaments, that's awesome. And there's more and more coming up. It's really cool to see the ladies getting hooked on fishing. And so often now at Hubbard's Marina, I'm noticing more and more. Like yesterday, our 39-hour trip went out. There was like 7 ladies waiting to go out in that boat. So it's becoming a big shift where 10 years ago, a 39-hour trip, it was all dudes.
I think there's a lot of guides that would say sometimes when a couple hops on a skiff, for instance, sometimes the lady will outfish her husband or
all the time.
So this past week I did a thing at USF, the College of Marine Science. They have a girls' oceanography camp just for girls, awesome. Rising 9th graders. And so I went, they were interviewing me about how to, work in an environmental world But it was really cool. So a lot of those girls, I was talking to the organizer, a lot of those girls end up becoming marine biologists.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
Awesome.
Good to see stuff like that.
Speaking of lady anglers and lady anglers with extreme prowess, we've got Lisa Fitzgerald from CCA Star on the line. How you doing this morning, Lisa?
Well, good morning, guys. I'm doing wonderful. I guess I'm rushing over to meet with you guys. I'm going to be there at Picnic Island as well, helping Sergio and all these youngsters in understanding how to properly handle and release fish. And it's going to be a fun morning at Picnic Island. I believe, quite honestly, that I think he had to register for that beforehand because he's full. I think he had 120 spots available. So I'm excited for that. We're excited with Star still. We still have all 3 boats available and our scholarships. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Before you get out on that water, if you are not registered for the CCA Florida Star competition, you need to get yourself registered because any fish you catch can give you an opportunity to win your share of $500,000 in prizes.
That's awesome. And it's not too late to sign up for that.
Well, it is not too late. We had lots of anglers last year who signed up that Friday before the last weekend, caught fish, submitted them, and won. So, it's only $75 to register for the competition and become a CCA member. That's almost more inexpensive than any other tournament that you would fish, and it gives you the entire summer to fish. So you want to get registered. There's some cool divisions. You're talking about the offshore divisions. There's grouper, kingfish, and mahi-mahi. Of course, there's the tagged redfish division. There's tagged dolphin division. But then you have snook, trout, and non-tagged redfish. Every fish you catch counts, but my absolute favorite division is the Coast to Kick plastic trash division. Yeah. Because while you're out there on the water or at the boat ramp or waiting, you can pick up trash from the shoreline, from the water, and I'm going to tell you, that is not a hard thing to find. If it's windy and a crappy day to go fishing, go pick up trash and submit it into the Star competition and do great things for our environment.
Amen to that. I was going to bring that up if you didn't. The trash division was something that you guys added in the last few years that I thought was really, really cool and a great way to get people involved. Even if you're not a fisherman, you still have a chance to win money in a fishing tournament by just helping the environment and getting out there on the coastline and cleaning up some trash. So really, really cool things you guys are doing.
Dylan, kudos to you for your efforts in these offshore and nearshore reefs. And I'm working with Eric Allman, who was just on the phone with you for that Ladies Fishing Classic in July. I'm just, I'm so excited to be involved with them and helping to get all of this off the ground. She's a wonderful advocate for women in the sport of fishing. And I want everyone to remember that fishing isn't just fishing, it is truly a sport. So, get out there, go fishing. The bite is hot right now for so many different species, but remember, it really is hot out there, so make sure you bring lots of water, and I'm sure Jim Fogle has already given his speech to tell you, stay hydrated and covered up.
Amen to that. We're up against the break, Lisa. Tell everybody how they can get signed up for the Star again.
They can go to CCAFLSTAR.com, get yourself registered, or give us a call on the phone lines at 844-387-7827, and we'll get you registered right then and there.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate it. Have fun today at the Kids Clinic.
Bye,
See
Dylan.
ya. Always a pleasure. We'll be right back after these messages, and we'll be concluding the show with our good friend Justin Tramble from Tampa Bay Waterkeepers Real Animals Radio. We'll be right back. Last
selling a home doesn't.
Unfortunately. Yeah. I have to go to the bathroom so bad.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to race you. No, there's multiple stations, so we're good. But,
We can do rock, paper, scissors.
if you want, you can go now on break. Yeah, yeah. You know, if you go out here, go down that hallway, take a left, and it's the second door on the right. Yo, yo.
Do you want me to take any more callers?
No.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I know you probably wanted to finish up. It's going to be a short segment
Yeah.
anyway. So I just wanted to confirm with you if you wanted more callers.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, the last segment, it's so hard to do callers. Plus, I want to give him a chance to kind of wrap this thing
I
up.
was going to say, you invite him on and the guy gets 20 seconds of airtime.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, you're going to find kind of a curve in the road there on the right, and then just follow that up. Basketball hoop, and I'm just here with this little wing.
Yeah. DAE, that bathroom is bigger though. It's got like a fucking shower in it and everything. It's crazy.
I'll make sure nobody
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Full weather ahead for the second half of this coming work week, but a little bit nasty here. The first start of the week with a little pressure peaking down, creating some rain chances, unfortunately. But luckily, doesn't get too bad, even inshore, near shore. Not too bad. Jose, still have problems here. Did you find it? Yeah. I'll show you after we're done. Yeah, he explained the one that's harder to find.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that's closer is a lot easier. I get lost. Yeah. Don't pee in a studio.
No. Especially if it's on air.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the one not to.
Luckily, we're the only boat that was on air this morning.
Yeah.
There's like the news people are about the only ones that are here in the morning.
Down
This time of morning.
there's a thing that's lit up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't.
Sounds like, does people ever like pre-record or
Maybe.
record like?
Yeah. Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show is back for our last segment of the morning, and our guest this morning, Justin Tramble from Tampa Bay Waterkeepers. Appreciate you joining me this morning. Since Captain Mike couldn't be here, glad to have you in the studio talking a little bit about Tampa Bay Waterkeepers and all the great stuff you guys have going on. On our last segment here, want to give you a chance, since we've had a busy morning with callers, to kind of give any last parting thoughts or things that you think people should know about Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, and also how people can kind of get involved with you guys. I know there's a sign up to an email on your website, so you can join their email list for free and just stay up to date with what they're doing, what's going on, and how you can help. But I'm sure there's a way to become a member as well. And give a minute to do your spiel.
For sure, and I'll keep it as far away from an elevator pitch as possible, right? But thanks for having me. there was a question earlier today about, or this morning about, what can folks do, right, to make a difference or actually make an impact? And I think that's a really good and fair question, because a lot of these big picture issues like water quality, sometimes, as just an individual, it seems hard to feel like you can make a difference. But you heard Lisa talk about picking up trash on that last segment. And I'm going to actually make it even easier. So one of the things that we talk about is just having conversations with people about the importance of water quality. 60% of the pollution in Tampa Bay is from stormwater runoff. And so, make sure you follow the fertilizer ordinance. That's huge. Yeah. Nitrogen loading in the bay is our biggest issue, really. Mm-hmm. So being aware of what's going in your storm drain is important, and having the conversations with like your neighbors, with friends about why water is important. So it goes beyond fishing. Yeah. And Dylan, you and I, when we met earlier this week to just chat, we talked about how Tampa Bay as a region's tied to the health of the watershed. So
very much so.
Yeah, there's a statistic that the Tampa Bay regional planning folks and the estuary program put out that said that I think over half, so close to 60% of all the jobs in the Tampa Bay region are tied to our water. Yeah. So that's massive. So to me, what that means is that this issue is not just a boater issue. It's not a fisherman issue. This issue's a Tampa Bay. This is a Florida issue, really.
Yeah, and we saw that with that really hardened down red tide. We saw that with the BP oil spill. I mean, when there's big national news stories about bad water and poor water quality, we see a huge impact to tourism. So even if you're a small mom and pop restaurant in the heart of Tampa, if there's a bunch of news stories about how the water quality in Tampa Bay is terrible, you're going to suffer as a business. And even homeowners, you can be a couple miles from the coast. If there's a bad spill or a bad red tide, I mean, you can experience quite a bit of irritation and pleasant smells, even pretty far off the coastline if the wind's pushing in your direction. So it affects everyone for sure. And I'm glad to have you on the show this morning and talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, for sure. So the call to action would be make sure you're talking about how important it is, not just keeping it to yourself, right? Yep. Talk about it. Groups like Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, a really good way to get involved and stay aware. We do bi-weekly water quality testing and a lot of the sites that we all recreate at. Mm-hmm. So you can find that at tampabaywaterkeeper.org. We also do a lot of events. So we've got a fly fishing tournament called the Waterman that we do in February. That's a really good fundraiser for our organization. We're planning like a bay boat tournament. And so if you hop on to our website and become a member or sign up for our email list or follow us on social media, you can get connected. And that's an easy way to give you the information to have these conversations with your peoples,
Awesome.
Yeah. So TampaBayWaterkeeper.org. And thanks for having me, Dylan.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for coming. And TampaBayWaterkeepers.org, you can find that information, become a member, sign up for the email, and look for that patrol program starting next month. And appreciate everybody listening in this morning and joining us. We'll do a little bit more of a wrap up on our live feed here on Facebook. Don't forget to tune in again next week. We'll be back Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Tomorrow morning on DAE, the Real Animals radio show is 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in to those guys as well. And our Sunday night live stream show on the Real Animals and Hubbard's Marina Facebook every Sunday night at 8:30. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Thanks for listening, guys. We're out.
The preceding program was paid for by Real Animals Fishing.
We did it.
Hey.
Thanks for listening and joining us this morning, y'all. And again, thank you, Justin, for being here. And hopefully everybody gets a chance to check out the Tampa Bay Waterkeepers website. Again, tampabaywaterkeepers.org. And I think the question earlier in the stream about subtle ways that you can kind of help with water quality. I think signing up and doing that patrol program thing is a great thing. Signing up for some of these email harvest email newsletters, Tampa Bay Waterkeepers, the Florida Guides Association, CCA, Captains for Clean Water. You don't necessarily have to spend money and become a member of each organization, but you can go on their website and join their email list, and that's going to keep you up to date, educated, and informed. If you want, go join all those organizations and put some money there. That definitely helps out even more. But just getting on email lists can keep you educated, up to speed, and informed on issues. And then if you see something that you're motivated or passionate about, then maybe become a member, maybe donate some funds, maybe get behind it, volunteer. You don't necessarily have to donate funds. Volunteering and donating your time is just as important and just as needed in a lot of these organizations. So a lot of ways to get involved.
Yeah, I would also echo that we're open, and I'm open to hear ideas and conversation. Our organization's grassroots, so that means that it's our organization's, Florida fishermen and folks that recreate on the water. It's not from top down.
Yeah.
So that means that we're super receptive to hearing, our members' ideas and having conversation. That's a big part of how we operate as an organization. So
that's awesome. Well, appreciate y'all hanging out this morning. Don't forget, Sunday night, 8:30 p.m., our live stream show. Tomorrow morning, Real Animals Radio, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on WDAE, 620 WDAE. And they should be streaming live to the Real Animals Facebook as well. Y'all have a great weekend. Happy Saturday. Tight lines. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. And hopefully we'll see you on the water.
Happy Father's Day weekend.
And happy Father's Day weekend. That's true. Oh, my goodness. All right, we're out. See you guys. Thanks for listening.
The group came to the House office buildings to interview two members of the 1-6 committee.